to utilize the Bubster tool rather than going for the WhatsApp. Okay, so thanks for kind of answering that question, guys. And now let's quickly go upon and kind of understand how the thing will look like. Okay, so what we will do is let me just quickly go to that. So just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so this is the website, and okay, let's first cover up some theory part, and then we'll kind of jump on the lab. Okay, so the thing is that the first thing which I wanted to kind of discuss is the HTTP headers. Okay, and we'll look at the GET request, what the headers are. Okay, so we'll go through one by one. So the first thing that whenever you are to a scenario where you need to kind of analyze a GET header, for an example, so you need to kind of understand what are the specific headers that we are concerned about. Okay, and let's go to the first header, which is the host header over here. Okay, so what this host header is all about. So whenever you encounter this kind of headers, the first thing, if you see the host, it is the most important header, okay, for you. Why? The reason is that it will tell you what was that website that was visited either by that malware or by the user by any kind of browser, okay, or by any process. So if any browser, if any software, let's say the software can be either malware, it can be either browser, it can be any other thing. If it is kind of reaching out to any website, the host header will be the most important header, first of all, to kind of start the analysis with. Okay, so thing is that, let's say for an example over here, the host is Kawasaki something.com. So this is the web domain that was kind of visited by this malware. The name of the malware over here is the TCS malware. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing that you will be kind of encountering in kind of whenever you will be kind of encountering a GET header or any post header. So basically telling, let's say that the HTTP header. So you will see that there is a user agent over here. Okay, user agent. So user agent, I hope these things are kind of visible to you guys in an easy format. So so you will see a header called as user agent. So what this user agent is all about, it tells us what kind of browser or what kind of software, let's say the user was trying to utilize to visit that web page. So over here, for an example, I was trying to kind of visit this sportsfigure.net from a Chromium browser. So that's why the user agent is something like what is it, Mozilla, and then if you see Chrome, and then and some kind of details about here. So thing is that from the user agent, obviously, like it is not it is not that pretty easy to kind of figure out what's the Chrome, what's the browser that the person had visited, because thing is that if you see that there's a word written on as Mozilla over here, so that people might get confused that okay, it might be related to Mozilla Firefox, but that's not the case. And sometimes even the thing is that if you see the user agent is window NT, okay, but you know that I am visiting this website from a Remnex OS, okay, but the Chromium browser has been set up by this Bubster tool in such a way that the user agent that it is sending out is kind of Windows NT. So the thing is that this field is actually controlled by the user. So the thing is that the user can kind of supply any kind of field over here as per his or her choice. Okay, so even though suppose I am visiting a website from a Mac OS, I can kind of configure the user agent as such that like it will show us that like it is that I am visiting the website from a Windows OS. Okay, so this kind of we need to kind of keep in mind that this is one of the field which is a user agent, which can be kind of controlled by the user, okay, or by the malware. So the malware can kind of do something like, let's say, rather than kind of, even though let's suppose it can, it is kind of, let's say, it is trying to visit the website from, let's say, let's see if I have a figure of the user agent over here. Okay, so now if you see, for this is one of the malware, which is APT19 malware. So the first thing is definitely the host, which we have already discussed about, like it is autodiscover.2bunny.com, and then we see the user agent over here. Okay, so here the thing is that the malware has actually configured its own user agent to kind of confuse us. Okay, so what it can do is that the malware can kind of control the user agent, and it can write it like, okay, like it is window NT, and then the rather than kind of mentioning the trident, it can mention that, okay, it is Chrome browser. Okay, so let's suppose we are kind of looking at this get header. So if we are not kind of keeping that in mind, that the user agent can be changed by the malware, what we will think initially, that maybe some user is trying to visit a website using the Chrome browser, for an example. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to kind of keep in mind that this field, the user agent, can be kind of changed by the malware, or it can be changed by the user as per his or her choice. Okay, so this is all about the user agent. So it actually tell us what client was used to make the request.
Sorry to interrupt, I have a question here.
Yes.
So for example, if we are handling a case where we are seeing the same HTTP, like the same header we're seeing, where it is user agent is showing as like it is coming from Mozilla Firefox. So in that case, how we will know the how we will go like to the root cause analysis, like is it really malware or is it really the user so how can we like be sure like it is a malware who has tried to modify this user agent?
Okay, so in that case, one of the things that you can do is, let's say you have the host header. Okay, you have the host header, like what was the website that was visited, and what you need to do is, you now know. So let's say, for an example, so first thing is, like, let me understand. I hope I captured your question correctly. So let me just go to this one quickly. So what I understood from a question, that you have a user agent and you want to figure out from the user agent if it is a malware, if it is something set up by a malware, or it is something like the user is deleting that website from a browser. Is that right, question?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so one of the things that you can do is that, so right now I have discussed about the host header, and I have discussed about the user agent. Okay, and thing is that you are seeing some data in the user agent. Let's say it is telling Mozilla, Firefox, and something like Windows, and you want to figure out if it is something set up by the malware or by the user. Okay, so what you can do in that case is that, let's suppose you have hold of the artifacts. You have hold of the artifacts of the system. Okay, so the first thing what you will do is that, let's say the host is c2.evil.com. Okay, the first thing you need to do is you need to get the IP address of the website. Okay, you need to get the IP address of the website. So let's suppose you got the IP address of the website as 2.3.4.5. So you know that the IP address of the website is 2.3.4.5. Okay, so that's the first step. The next step that you will be doing is, you will see what are the systems that have visited this website, this IP address, for an example. Okay, for an example, let's suppose there are also certain logs which you can. Okay, so the next question will be, what are the systems that have visited this IP or URL? So if you have logged directly, that, okay, you can figure out from the URL itself that, okay, what system has visited that URL. So that's much better. But if you don't have that log, So then you need to convert that URL to the IP address. You need to get that.